Hi everyone, my name is Otso Karvinen. I'm the lead marketing strategist at Quru, and today we are talking about the shifting B2B buyer behavior and how international marketers need to adapt. This presentation was originally done for the Markkinointikollektiivi International Marketers Afternoon event. We did it in Finnish, and then we wanted to also share the material with you in English. So a little bit about me. I am Otso Karvinen, the lead marketing strategist at Quru. I've been working in the crux of B2B and B2C marketing for 14 years now, working in both sales and marketing roles. And in the recent years, I've been really focusing on international B2B marketing and solving complex and long sales cycles. Quickly about Quru. Quru is a digital marketing and analytics agency. We're founded in 2009. We have offices in both Helsinki and Turku. Currently, we are 19 senior digital marketing and analytics experts. At Quru, we help companies turn their data into understanding and that understanding into effective marketing activities. This is also why this topic is super relevant for us. So why did I chose this topic? I chose this topic because B2B buying behavior is shifting. It is in transition. Sales cycles are getting longer, they're getting more complex. Buying committees are both at the same time shrinking in other industries and then becoming larger in others. So there's this transition in the buying committees as well. And of course, artificial intelligence and automation is bringing a whole host of new things and both opportunities and challenges for us international marketers. So let's go over a couple of the things that is happening to the buying process and the buying journey and the buying behavior right now. One thing is the fact that the buying journey is getting much more longer and more complex. This is taken from the Dream Data 2024 B2B benchmark report. Dream Data is a revenue attribution platform that pulls from its own data this really comprehensive report on how their customers are seeing these changes in the behavior of their buyers. And in their 2024 report, they stated that currently the average, mind you, the average sales process has over 60 touch points between the selling and the buying company, over 200 days, the average length of a buying journey, and there's over 10 people in the buying committee on the client side. This is a really, really good photo. I use this example in quite a lot of my presentations. This is the Gartner's The New B2B Buying Journey and its implications for sales. This is, of course, an illustration, but I think at the core, it really illustrates how complex actually the buying process is, how many different types of actions can happen and will happen in your regular B2B buying process, and also the fact that it's very much non-linear. I think this is a thing that we have to drop at this point. It's 2025. We have to drop the idea that a buying process is like a linear funnel. It's non-linear. It's a series of different events and touch points, and the buyers will enter the buying journey at various stages. They will repeat those stages. So it's a very complex non-linear process. Another buying behavior change and trend is digitalization and self-service. So 80% of sales interactions are already digital, and this is taken from the Gartner State of B2B Buying Survey. It's also in the same survey that buyers, they progress, they go through the buying process much more further, like they go way beyond where they usually went as a self-service method before they ever contact sales. So this basically to me and to us means that actually the role of marketing is increasing at the start of those buying journeys, and the role of sales is then in a much more critical part at the end of the sales process, because the buyers will have done a lot of research themselves. They will have done a lot of comparison by themselves before they ever contact the buying company, or the selling company rather. This is also to the same trend, to the same buying behavior change. So this is from the Forrester 2025 Sales Predictions Report. So according to Forrester, half of large purchases will be processed through digital sales channels. So not only e-commerce stuff like B2B e-commerce, but actually larger purchases will now more so be processed through digital sales channels in 2025. Then of course this would not be a marketing keynote or a marketing speech without talking about AI. And of course, AI has a big role in buying in 2025. According to Forrester's 2024 Buyer's Journey Survey, where they surveyed like bigger B2B buyers and their behavior, 89% said that they have taken integrated AI into their research and decision-making processes, which is very interesting. So basically, AI already plays a significant role in the early stages of the buying process, as well as some of the later stages. What challenges international marketing today? So people who attended the event, they answered the survey. The question was something in the lines of, what is the biggest challenge you have for international marketing today? And I've pulled together for this deck a little bit of like a breakdown of those challenges. So I would categorize them into six challenges. There was organizational and resource related challenges, not enough team, not enough budget, have to do much more with the same team, for example. Then balancing global and local. This was maybe more so in the actual messaging and brand side of things, but also teams wise, like how to manage a local marketing team versus a global marketing team. Then reaching the right audiences, long buying cycles and measuring those long buying cycles. Then challenges regarding partners and resellers. And then lastly, challenges around regulation and technology. When I was going through this report, this breakdown of these answers, one thing struck out to me, and also one reason why I actually chose this topic for this event was the fact that a lot of these challenges, they are either directly related to or at least heavily influenced by the B2B buying behavior change, or buying behavior change in general, rather. These three in particular, I feel like has a very direct link to the change of the buying behavior on the buying company's side. And I draw a little bit of like a line between these, and this is directly related to the buying behavior change by the fact that the buying journeys are becoming longer and they are becoming more complex. So they require more touch points, especially from the marketing side of the organization. And of course, this means more resources. It means more content. It might mean more people. So marketing teams are really strapped with resources when they are kind of then combating also this buying behavior change. Then reaching the right audiences. So basically, buyers will progress independently far beyond what they used to. And of course, this means that it's harder for us to get in front of the correct audiences or get a meeting with those potential buyers. Let's say 5 years ago, you would slap in a lead magnet, some kind of downloadable content, and then you could book a meeting from that. That is much more rarely happening nowadays because the buyers want to do a lot more of that research. They want to do a lot more of the comparison independently. This also means that channels are getting more fragmented. When earlier you would have a much earlier contact with sales, now it's much later. So then the process is happening in multiple different channels, the research, solution, requirement building, solution, comparison, etc. And then visibility is also decreasing with AI being a big influence because we have very limited visibility into how our buyers are utilizing AI for their research. And then the last one, long buying cycles and measurement. So basically also the decision maker is more distributed. The committees are more broad. The buyers advance digitally much longer. So it's measuring also those touch points is getting harder. And overall measuring and reporting results is becoming harder because of the change. Let's get to the real meat of this presentation, which is how should international marketers then respond to these changes? And of course, there are dozens and dozens of ways to actually combat these changes and respond. But we will give you 3 categories, and within those 3 categories, we will give you different levels from easy to hard of like concrete things that you should think about and maybe implement in your organization. Let's start from the first one, which is, in order to succeed in relation to the changing buyer behavior, we need to understand and measure the real customer journey. And there's the little star symbol because, of course, it means at least as much as we can. There is this thing called the dark funnel that we probably in marketing have all heard about. Basically, the part of the customer journey and those touch points that we cannot measure. It is a real thing, of course, but we can shine light into some of those areas to have a better understanding of what actually the customer journey is. And the customer journey is not linear, and it's beneficial to think about it as non-linear. Rather, think about it as a network of touch points and different events between the selling company and the buying company. So how to move into action as to measuring the real customer journey? So an easier way would be to actually take full advantage of your existing measurements. So all of your companies most likely have an analytics setup. If you're a B2B company, you have a CRM setup. You probably have sales data somewhere. But I would argue that almost no company that at least I've been involved with really takes full advantage of your existing measurement and your existing data. So really thinking about what data do we have, how could we utilize it into understanding our customer journeys better. Then adding the hidden signals, so-called hidden signals. For example, company level IP tracking is one thing. Lead feeder as a tool, probably familiar to some. Dream data also as another tool includes these kind of capabilities, basically seeing on the company level which companies are actually visiting our websites. And then another thing is the self-reported attribution, sometimes called self-reported attribution with its kind of more complex name. What it actually means is, for example, in your website forms, actually asking the people, how did you hear about us? The how did you hear about us question. That actually gives like a really, really good insight into what influenced that contact to actually contact your company. Then a little bit harder tasks, building dashboards on marketing impact. So attribution dashboards, contribution dashboards, of course, like marketing impacted sales pipeline, for example, would be something to include there. Then, of course, a harder task would be to deploy a stronger revenue attribution tool. For example, Dream Data or HubSpot, also Salesforce includes some of these. These are a little bit more bigger projects for a company and also require a shift in thinking and the activities that the company actually does. Then onto the second recommendation is to actually prioritize and target effectively. And I put in quotations to take in this ABM mindset. So ABM stands for account-based marketing. You can't do everything, especially with the limited resources we have today. So focusing on the most important contacts, the most important companies, the most important accounts only makes sense. Then how to move into action with prioritizing effectively. We have to ensure that we have a clear ICP definition, so ideal customer profile definition across our organization. All of the different functions need to share the same understanding of who is the most valuable customer to us, and then how do we influence those customers. Then a little bit more difficult is to start to segment and cluster those ICP companies. For example, putting them into tiers. If you are running HubSpot, if you are running Salesforce, this is often a built-in feature, but like a tier 1 would be that we do full ABM activities, one-to-one prioritization of content, one-to-one personalization rather of content to that tier 1. And then tier would be programmatic ABM, so a little bit more broadly talking about personalization on the industry level, for example. Then third one would be to run an actual ABM pilot campaign. Let's say for 5 to 10 key accounts, take in a salesperson, SDR, BDR, take in your marketing counterpart, maybe accounts counterpart, and then building like a combined playbook where you combine LinkedIn advertisement, Google advertisement, and tailored sales outreach to a certain set of companies, and then present those winnings and reports through the pilot to actually then get that ball rolling within the company. Then third recommendation, last but not least, is to ensure seamless collaboration with sales. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, as long as I've been in business, we've been talking about sales and marketing collaboration and sales and marketing synergy. But nowadays, with the buyers being much more individual, much more kind of capable of doing the process themselves, actually the collaboration is becoming even more important. Much more important to actually have good communication, shared goals, shared metrics, shared actions across your sales and marketing functions. So how to move into action? Of course, being at the same table helps. So start weekly meetings where sales and marketing review the same dashboards, looking at the CRM pipeline, for example, how much money, how many companies do we have, what style of companies. Then what I consider a really, really good and easy way to start is actually having these, I sometimes call them kind of deal autopsies. So reviewing the latest won cases together with sales and marketing, like listing what marketing activities, what sales activities did we have, what was the defining factor, why we won that deal, for example. And then introducing account-based reporting. This goes hand in hand with account-based marketing, of course, but this is something that can be done even if you're not taking in that really kind of full one-to-one personalization version of ABM, which is that all actions and results are reported on the account level rather than the channel level, or even worse, like the individual, like contact level, for example. We want to influence a company. We want to win a deal with a company. So why should we not report on our winnings or our kind of performance on the company level? Then having one shared and agreed upon KPI helps a lot. For example, it could be pipeline in euros, dollars, whatever market you are in, or then opportunities, for example. But having it said that, okay, this is our North Star metric, and both marketing and sales would be measured against that metric. And then lastly, a really big kind of undertaking, but that can be really beneficial if your company is mature enough, is to build a joint revenue operations team or a revenue operations function, basically a function that unites sales, marketing, and customer service under one kind of umbrella. Sometimes they're called like revenue teams, for example, but revenue operations is the really good terminology to use for that. Then I'm going to leave with a question, stop here with a question, which is really think about it. How can your company's marketing make buying easier for your ideal customers? What activities need to happen that your customers, it's easier for them to buy from your company? In our event, of course, this is now a virtual keynote, but in our event, we went into ABM workshops. We workshopped around ABM. Why we decided to have ABM as the workshop part of this event was the fact that we feel, as at Quru, we feel that ABM as a strategy directly addresses the changing B2B buyer behavior and actually tackles some of those challenges. So this particular image is taken from Gartner Digital Markets report, where they surveyed companies that had taken in ABM as their marketing strategy in quite a short while. And I think it was really, really cool to see these results, because only 2% of companies actually said that they didn't actually receive a lift from undertaking an ABM program or running an ABM program. Most of the companies saw a major increase in account engagement for those target companies. They saw a shorter sales cycle, they saw higher win rates, and they saw a greater customer lifetime value. So I think good data to back it up that ABM is actually a really, really good strategy to utilize to tackle the changing buyer behavior. That was my keynote. Hopefully this was nice. If you have any questions regarding the topic, or you want to discuss more in depth, you can find my LinkedIn information somewhere, wherever this is going to be posted, down there, up there, maybe on the sides, somewhere. Feel free to reach out to either me or anybody in the Quru team. We'd be happy to chat with you further on how you could utilize this information to benefit your marketing and sales processes. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.